another. This is a medical one. This one I'm pretty good at. The heart attack, the risk factors, blood pressure, cholesterol, and smoking. I mean, this is like the recipe for the big one. A lot of young folks will start out with smoking because they say, well, I don't have blood pressure problems, I don't have cholesterol. But later on, they get those issues. So they just compound it. So of 690 people, they had heart attack survivors. 62 had only high cholesterol of the three risk factors. So let's go down. 62, this is C. We only had 62, so that's why you have 62 here. Only 62 had just cholesterol. Only 36 had what? And 93 had blood pressure. So this might be an indicator to you. What is the worst thing you could do related to a heart attack? Which of the three? Smoking, cholesterol, or blood pressure? What does the numbers indicate?
Blood pressure.
Yeah, if your blood pressure is high, obviously you're having the big one. I mean, that's why a lot of people who are overweight have higher blood pressure, because that heart's trying to pump blood to more parts of the body than they should have to. Okay, so again, you got to plug in all the pieces of the puzzle. So once you have them all plugged in, and the total study is what? How many people did we talk with?
690.
690. So you take 690 minus 585. The universe has 105. Again, it's just a puzzle. I think you're all getting sick of this now, but you're understanding it more and more, that you have to be sure that each part number correlates to what the information says. Okay. Now there's a 2.5. We're not going to do that. I'm going to skip that because that's not in our required. We're going to go, and this is going to be a summary. Let's now go to 3 logic. Now, we're going to start logic because that's what we're supposed to do for today. And again, this is one of those puke ones. For some reason or other, we have the first 2 hard ones. And if you look at it, we go to scientific notation later on, real numbers, integers. We do some other good stuff that's easier. But logic right now is the next one. And let me tell you, you're going to get sick, and I told you that. It's worse than the Venn diagram. A lot of people like the Venn diagram, or some. All right, so we're going to start with 3-1. We'll take a break, and then on Wednesday we'll do 3-2, 3-3, and 3-4. So we'll start with 3-1. That will at least give you a little bit of and I built this order in how you don't have to do it all at once. We used to try to teach this all in one class, and by the end of the class, too many people did puke. I'm just being honest. Okay, statement is a declarative sentence that can be objectively determined. Is true or false. So the first question is this. Decide which of the following statements and which are not. Most scientists agree that global warming is threatening to the United States. And here's the solution. Parts A, D, and E, it says, can be judged true or false in a non-subjective manner. So A is true. Most scientists will tell you that global warming is a threat to the environment. It doesn't say everyone, it says most. That's why it's true. D, this is mathematically so. 42 plus 8 divided by 13 is the square root of 115. You can prove it. So it's true. E, this book is about diabetes. It is or isn't. So it's true. Now, let's look at B. Is that your laptop? That's not a statement, it's a question. So it's easy to see. It's not a statement. C says, man, that's hurt. That's not a sentence, it's an exclamation. And it's also subjective, because what hurts for some people may not for others. I've seen the person get hurt badly and they walk away and say, I'll get better. Then I see another person like just get a little pinprick and they were like crying. All right. And then F, watching reality shows turns your brain to mush. Well, that's an opinion. And there's no study to prove that. So it's not a statement either. It's just an opinion. I hope that makes sense to you. Statements are statements. Questions are questions. Opinions and explanation. Any questions on number one? The basics are very important here. Is everybody okay with number one?
Yes.
Well, at least I hear somebody. Hopefully that's Maria saying that she at least heard me. Everybody else, I hope I'm not asleep. What?
Yeah, it was.
No. All right, let's look at now simple and compound statements. A compound statement is a statement formed by joining two or more simple statements with a connective. There are four basic connectives: conjunction, disjunction, conditional, and biconditional. And these are all related to logic. Let's look at a couple of them. Our school mascot is a moose. There are no connectives like if or, so this is just simply a statement. Now we see B. If you register for a Wi-Fi service, you get 3 days of free access. So now we have more than just a statement. It's a conditional statement. If you register for something, you get three days. So you can see the solution. The if makes it a compound statement and a conditional one as well. So you have two thoughts here: Wi-Fi service and free access. Tomorrow is the last day to register for class. Simple statement. C, in the interest of saving the planet, I plan to buy either a hybrid or a motorcycle. Well, this is a compound statement for sure. As you can see, it's a compound statement with a disjunction. The disjunction is, I will either, saving the planet is related to what? Doing environmentally good thing. Now, I'm not so sure that a motorcycle is in that category, but they say a hybrid is, but I'm not sure that is either, because people would say walk. So it's a disjunction in the sense that, first part, in the interest of saving the planet, that's really, it says, I am interested in saving the planet. That's your statement. Plan to buy, and then since it's a compound sentence, it has what you're going to do. You're going to buy something. But the buy something has two parts. And so it's a disjunction in the sense that you have the hybrid or the motorcycle. The or makes it that. D is a little more complicated, but most folks can see that it is not just an easy statement. Most people would say, well, I can see that it's a compound because there's two parts to it. And the disjunction is the word or. Now, see if we can find another practice one. The negation. Let's go to the example. Negation of the following statement. Now, you got to be very careful with negations. Negations are not all-encompassing. For example, it says, every student taking philosophy semester will pass. Cannot say no, that's not correct. You have to say some students taking philosophy this semester will not pass. Because it says every. So some. Now it says some people. Then you can say no people who are Miami fans are also Dolphin fans. Notice that every changes to some, and some changes to no. And it's always going to be the opposite. Will pass, will not pass. Look at this one, see. There's at least one professor in the school who does not have brown eyes. least one is not every, so it's a some that means you go to all. All professors in this school have brown eyes. That's the opposite. It's the negation. The opposite of one having brown eyes is all of them have brown eyes. Now that might make a little more sense. Again, you have to practice. No nursing student, and that's no student, is also majoring in criminal justice. At least one nursing student is also majoring in criminal justice. Now, you're going to say, do I have to come up with the exact wording? No. What you got to do is be able to pick out which one is the negation. The test will give you one of these. It will give you, let's say, for instance, no nursing student is also majoring in criminal justice. Then it'll say, okay, pick. All nursing students are majoring in criminal justice, or at least one nursing student. And you got to pick between a couple others. But these two will be the closest, the all or the one. You got to know it's the one. If you attend my review, and if I give you this little paper that I have here, life will be better for you. Lots better. You'll see later on. Symbolic notation. You got to know this. Yeah.
Part B where it said some and then it went to no, or the opposite, I can't remember. But how is that different from the last one?
Where B says some people are hurricane fans, and then it says no people. The other one says no. You could also write it some. You could also write some.
Oh, okay.
So, but remember, but it's not all. Remember, the two differences I tried to distinguish from are all versus some or one. Make sense?
Okay.
So you could say, and some is the same thing as saying at least one. There's a little bit of differentiation there, but the test won't mess you up that bad. Let's go to this one. Good question. This means conjunction, that's an and. This is the disjunction, that's the upside down D, or